Hello, my name is Jill Tiny and I am part of Collaboration Global, and if you found your way to this video, you're probably in the Academy, which is a place where we support people to learn more about themselves, about their businesses and about collaboration in general. Now, hopefully you've just enjoyed our collaborators, Rihanna Avis and Gina Gardner, who've been supporting us on the 10-minute teach the last couple of months, and this is a kind of spare one that got left over, so I'm nabbing it. Because there's been a cause on my heart recently and I want to share it with you, and I want you to understand a little bit more about me perhaps, but also about why it's important in this community. And I'm talking about the movement that is currently at the front of our minds. This is the summer of 2020 and the Black Lives Matter movement is everywhere. And I didn't think it affected me as such, and I was kind of ignorant to how I could make mistakes, ignorant to how I didn't understand, ignorant to how I can upset people without meaning to, without wanting to, because nobody really wants to do that. Nobody does it on purpose. So I just wanted to share some time here to explain how it's very easy to say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, but we mustn't do nothing. So Black Lives Matter, there's a very, currently it feels like it's a them and us. From my perspective, where I started from, to give you an idea, I don't believe I'm racist. Does anybody? Nobody does. I'm not racist, but let's get rid of the but word. So I grew up in the East End of London in a multicultural society, thank God. It was tough, we were poor. It was a difficult time. I didn't realise it. I was a kid. I was having fun. I had great friends. I was the minority in my class as a white person. I didn't even see that. I didn't consider it. And looking back, the only other white girl in my class was a girl from New Zealand with a funny accent. So, you know, it really was that multicultural, thank goodness. And it wasn't until I was about 6 or 7 and my friends had come around for tea and we'd been playing and then they were going home. My mum sort of pointed out to me, "Don't you have any white friends?" "What do you mean white friends?" "Well, you know, white." "What? No, white." And all of a sudden I saw them in a totally different light. I hadn't even considered, didn't look at the colour of their skins, and I think most children are like that. So anyone that is racist has had it put into them at a very early age. It's systemic, it's part of their makeup, and they don't necessarily see it as wrong. And we are being racist on an everyday basis without even seeing it, without even realising. So as an interest, I posted something up of 2 children in shadow walking away, and somebody had said, "Interesting that you're talking about Black Lives Matter, but you use white children to illustrate the point." You couldn't tell if they were white or black, but she had chosen to see them as white. And I think, doing a bit of research, they're Mexican. But the point, it was irrelevant. It was children and it was about coming together. But she'd chosen to go to illustrate a difference rather than come together and see unity. So what I want you to consider in anything that you're posting or looking at is, how can it bring people together? A core value of Collaboration Global is human being first. And if you've been to any of our meetings, you will have probably heard me say again and again and again, I don't care, we don't care how tall you are, how short you are, what colour you are, what sex you are, what gender you adhere to, what sexuality you are, none of our business. But basically, we're all human beings. Whether you're able-bodied, disabled, there is no discrimination because we can all come together and support and help each other. And if somebody is less able than another person, then we want to help them. If somebody is going through struggles emotionally for whatever reason, we want to help them. Whether you are academically gifted, which I believe we all are gifted at different levels, or whether you are just looking and you're on your journey to find something new, it doesn't matter. So the colour of the skin in Collaboration Global, from my perspective, is irrelevant. And yes, all lives matter, but that is not what the Black Lives Matter movement is about. Why worry about all lives when actually it's the one specific group of people that are having their lives blighted? And it's not by everybody, but it's by too large a majority of people. And it goes back historically. So if you check out how we got our empire, you know, you're ashamed to be British, to be honest with you. It's just wicked, the things that were done. And just recently in the news, the statue of Cole in Bristol was taken down. Rah, rah. Yeah, why was that ever put on a plinth in the first place? All these things are very emotive subjects. But looking at and pointing out difference doesn't support anyone. And what I would like to say is, because of Collaboration Global, I want us to come together and look at, celebrate difference. Don't look at it as but he's different to me or she's different to me. As white people, we haven't noticed very much at all. You might have come across it if you have relatives that are black. You might have come across if you're friends or family, you know, and you might say, oh, wow, I didn't know that happened. And we can live in our little bubble and pretend it isn't happening, but it is. And it's happening in a way that is making people really, it's debilitating their genius. It's stopping them from doing what they need to be doing in their life and in the world because of the way people react to them. It goes both ways. A recent incident that I was part of in a business group on WhatsApp, somebody who'd been in the group for just 2 days was saying that she wanted to have a dialogue and a discussion about Black Lives Matter, which is great. And somebody said, I don't think this is the place for it. Could you move, this is a business focus, could you move it off into a different space? Now, on the one hand, we should be able to talk about this stuff anywhere. But on the other hand, she hadn't been aware of what had gone on before. So that we had all kind of had our knuckles wrapped before, because it was becoming too noisy and we were focused on an intention. And the intention means you only post what you'd been told to post in this particular WhatsApp group. It wasn't a chatty space. It wasn't a discussion space. And the people that were in that group potentially wanted to have that discussion. So let's go somewhere else and do it. It doesn't matter where we do it, so long as you have the discussion. So when I rang her up and said, let's have a discussion, she said, oh, I'm a bit busy. So, you know, we all have a responsibility to bring these conversations out to the open. We all have a responsibility to go, I don't know what I'm supposed to be saying, can you help me? And I've been that person. I'm sure I will have said something that people go, oh, that's a bit, because that's the way we've been taught. That's the way we've been taught to think. That's the way our experience of our life gives you that uniqueness, that gives you that viewpoint. But what I'm asking you to do now is to step in somebody else's shoes. What must it feel like to walk down the road and to be yelled at, or even on social media, called out names, abuse? I mean, I was trolled on LinkedIn the other day, and it was crazy. It wasn't for anything. It wasn't for the colour of my skin. It wasn't the fact I was a woman. It wasn't the fact that I'm not even 5'2", whatever. There was no reason behind it, no reason whatsoever. And yet, although my head was going, oh, he's silly, he's an idiot, my heart was going, oh, why would you say that? Why? Why would you be so mean? And people are. And if you've got a disability, a change of colour of your skin, if you're female, you are not white privilege, and you will have come across something that makes you blood boil and you really want to retaliate and, you know, get angry and lash out. So we have to understand that we have to be kind to the people that we're talking to. We're going to make mistakes. So hands up, please help me. But help the people that make the mistakes. Help the people that get angry. Help the people that have got every right to be angry. Help the people that don't understand. Let's bombard this whole situation with love and pull people together rather than push people away. So the lady in this group that I was telling you about, she left the group. Like within one conversation, she left the group. And I'm thinking, well, that's like 20 people that you could have got on side. 20 people you could have said, hey, let's have this discussion over here. And I would imagine 18, 19 of them would have come over. And the ones that didn't would have found out how good it was to have gone into the other group to have that discussion. And yet she didn't stay to potentially get people on side, to educate them, to help them. So I was really sad about that, but it made me realise, well, maybe what are you doing? So I've set up an online discussion space. At the moment, it hasn't happened yet. It's tonight. Maybe it will continue on. I don't know. But I just feel that each of us are responsible for connecting and reaching out to our fellow human being. And I don't really care where they come from. I don't care whether they're rich or poor. I don't care whether they're able or disabled, black or white, yellow, orange, sky blue, pink. It doesn't matter. We have a duty and responsibility to support and help our fellow humans. And if we can do that within this community and spread the love and take it out there, that's what it's about. So yes, Black Lives Matter. Let's focus on them for a bit, shall we? And then we can focus on some of the other stuff that's going on. It's all coming around coronavirus, and people are upset and emotions are high and people have lost loved ones, and they're thinking, well, there's something else I've got to worry about. But let's just focus on Black Lives Matter while there is a window of opportunity, because George Floyd died, and we just need to remember that he's just the tip of the iceberg. But it's an opportunity for Americans to make a difference, and for it to spread around the world for all of us to make a difference. It's not just African Americans, but you know what? They're a huge part of history, and we have this opportunity now to make a difference to that community and that group of people and that nation. That if we can help Americans, if we can help Africans, if we can, where's it going to go? I don't know, but let's just do our bit. All we can do. So when you see something on Facebook, or when you see something on Twitter, or wherever you happen to hang out on social media, think before you do this. And is what you are posting bringing people together, or is it pushing people apart? Are you being positive, or are you being negative? Are you sharing supportively, explaining? Are you calling people out because it's making you feel good and you can have a damn good rant? Or are you actually doing something constructive and helping the other person to see a different way? And people will hear you more when you come from a place of love than when you've come from a place of vitriol and upset. I very rarely hear somebody making a great point when they're just having a rant and swearing and accusing and just going a bit OTT. I hear people who are thought-provoking and considerate and understanding and making a damn good point. So I just ask you all to, if you're black, to go and educate people, please. If you're white, to just step back and stop being self-righteous, because you don't deserve it. We don't have that right. We do not have that right. In any way, shape or form, support what you can in this situation. I just, call me Pollyanna, but I'd love racism in, say, 5 years' time to be as weird, why would you do that, to everybody as smoking in a restaurant is now. Do you remember 20 years ago, you'd go and people smoke in a restaurant and you'd look at them and go, ooh, I don't like that. Now if somebody smoked in a restaurant, everybody would be like, oi, stop it, what are you doing? And you'd call them out. Let's have that with racism. If you see it anywhere, call it out. Call it out so that everybody is aware that it's not a good thing to do. It's not right. You can't get away with it anymore. You can't do it. We can't allow it to happen. So that's my little rant over. Hopefully you'll be able to post things in the future and see things in a slightly different way, or potentially you've been doing a great job already, in which case carry on. Thank you for your time. It's a little one-off, just Black Lives Matter. Coming up in July is all about collaboration. So we'll be looking at our values, our mindset for collaboration, and the behaviours that we have when we have collaboration. So looking forward to sharing that with you soon. Take care.